Welcome to the Verbal Nonsense Podcast. I'm Joel.
And I am Todd.
So how are you doing this morning, Todd?
I'm tired. I'm very tired. I was up pretty late last night. Actually, I've been tossing and turning all week. It's midnight, 1 o'clock before I'm asleep. And of course, work, 5 o'clock in the morning. It's been pretty rough. It's been a rough week.
Yeah, it has been a rough week.
I had some random facts that I wanted to spout out at the beginning, but I remember zero of them.
You didn't write them on your whiteboard?
I didn't.
Uh-oh.
I didn't. I was in bed when I read them. Actually, I think I saved a couple of them, but I'll try to. They're all memes. Every single one of them. Facebook memes, so you know they're true. 100%. I thought they were pretty witty, though. That's about the only reason why I wanted to slap them out there.
Well, while you're looking that up, dude, what's with the weather? We were just talking about leaving on the air conditioning. What, last week? Was it last week?
Yeah, people just, letting themselves cook by turning it off. And
this morning I got up and it was 34 degrees outside.
Dude, I went outside yesterday at 1 o'clock. That was the first time I went outside yesterday. It was like 1 p.m. It was 48 degrees, and I immediately went right back inside to go dig my coat out of, my winter stuff. And I couldn't find it, so I went and bought one. I was like, I need groceries, I need to get gas, and I'm like, I'm not standing outside to pump gas. Not in this. Man. This is ridiculous.
Last night I let the dogs out, and I was like, oh.
Now we know who let the dogs out.
That is a terrible song.
They play it at work, like legitimately the whole thing. Actually, the Garth Brooks XM radio does. We don't play it. Garth does.
Yeah, but yeah, I went outside with my dogs last night, and I was like, "Holy, it feels pretty cold." And I checked it, and it was like 39 degrees or 37 degrees, and they said it was going to get below freezing last night. So
Shut
I was
up.
like, I'm gonna turn on my heaters.
Yeah, I would throw on more blankets, but I have like a sheet and then a thin quilt, and that's about all I enjoy. The only fun fact that I found was a very informative post on Facebook. Did you know that that hookers don't fart? They let out little prostitutes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, okay. Well, I enjoyed it, and I wanted to share it with everybody else.
Spread your pain or your joy, however you want to look at it.
It was pretty rough. I groaned loudly, and then I laughed immensely because I like little puns.
I enjoy puns. My wife, she's a huge fan.
I love them. Absolutely.
No matter how bad they are, she's a huge fan.
They're better the worse they get. Reddit is probably the greatest source of puns you can find. Oh, well, anyway.
I'm not sure where I want to start. One that caught me was a Florida man disguised as woman robs bank, steals patrol car. I mean, this guy, was wearing looks like a leopard print dress.
That's hot.
And a long red-haired wig.
That's real hot. Of course it's red.
And mind you, so it looks like he's wearing a long sleeve shirt under the dress. And like sneakers. And he's carrying a backpack as well. So dude's 51 years old, and he walks in wearing, they said a gold dress, but from what I see here, it looked like more of a...
It's leopard.
Maybe? I don't know.
Maybe.
It's the picture's kind of fuzzy. But anyway, so he enters the bank in Castleberry, Orlando. Northeast of Orlando, sorry.
Oh, God.
He passed a note to the teller demanding money.
Basically,
he left
just
carrying an undisclosed amount of cash in his backpack. He was seen by a deputy ditching his disguise behind a bush. The deputy got out of his patrol car and confronted Reyes. After failing to subdue Reyes with a stun gun, the deputy chased him into an
Failing.
apartment complex. That's what it
Man,
says.
I've seen videos of people who have got hit with stun guns and stuff, and those people just fall out and crap themselves.
Well, I mean, it says failed, so it doesn't say whether he actually hit
Oh,
his target.
maybe he just fired and missed.
Yeah, maybe only one of the prongs hit him, or maybe something he was wearing deflected him, or they just didn't pierce all the way.
Gotcha.
Let's see. The deputy reached for his firearm to order Reyes to the ground, but Reyes tried to grab the weapon, setting off a struggle. He then dashed out of the complex and stole the deputy's patrol vehicle.
He's a monster. I was watching some YouTube escapes on, of course, YouTube, and watching people stealing patrol cars, and that is honestly funny. That is really funny. What did you get charged with?
Let's see. He got charged with numerous charges, including battery of an officer, resisting an officer with violence, and robbery with a firearm.
He didn't get hit with that appropriating gender?
No. No.
Florida's a pretty wacky state. I've seen like there's like a list of grand escapes made by people dressing up as women. I'm trying to remember. There's a cartel, not a member, but a leader of some cartel in Mexico that recently escaped. He was caught very quickly after because he was obviously the ugliest woman ever. But his wife came in to visit him in prison, and he put on her clothes with a wig and walked out because apparently they're the same size or something, I don't know, but he walks out. He had lipstick and all that stuff, and I guess he made it like 5 blocks down the road or something before they're like, wait a minute, that's not a woman. Yeah. Oh, that is so funny. I'll just hit up the old Florida news too. Charred remains of a woman was found in a Port-A-Potty. You said you saw it. There's really not a whole lot here.
Yeah.
They don't know exactly how it happened. But it was on a construction site. They said that there was a loud explosion, a 15-foot flame was seen, and they're blaming that she was smoking. You ever use the Port-A-Potty?
I have. Did you ever watch that episode of Mythbusters where they?
You know what? Now that you bring it up, no, I didn't.
They heard a story where a guy was smoking in a porta potty and they lit the meth thing. Now they did a test on there and said that it was, they couldn't replicate it.
It's plausible.
Yeah, but they couldn't replicate it. But they said that that
there's
maybe something else.
There's a lot of occurrences that have to happen in order for that to explode. A different chemical needs to be introduced into the system, the decomposing system of the poo. But also there are some, and I know this because I spent quite a few years in industrial construction. Some of the vents in the top can close, the air vents for people's breathing. Now, if you close those and you leave the lid open, the lid being closed actually ventilates out the top vent of the top of the porta potty. But anyway, if you do that, if in all those things in just perfect conditions, I could see it exploding.
Yeah.
But
well, no, it was just they said, "Oh, it's highly unlikely," but I think certain events are proving them wrong.
Yeah, it's one of those freak of nature things, I think.
Because there are other instances of it happening.
But they couldn't replicate the sniper shot through a scope either. Even like perfect conditions where they had the guns laser lined up in a sight where the sniper shoots through the scope and kills like the other sniper. They had the dummies and everything. I watched that episode. They couldn't replicate that either, but there's confirmed cases of that happening.
Oh, absolutely.
In war. But I think it was interesting because that was also Florida, St. Augustine, Florida. But they're just like, yeah, she was smoking. That's about it. No foul play here.
All right. Memphis cop allegedly assaulted woman who tried to eat hot dog after he told her not to.
Shut up. Don't eat that hot dog.
A Tennessee police officer was arrested and relieved of duty after he allegedly assaulted a woman over a hot dog. Ralph Confer of the Memphis Police Department was on duty at Regional One Health Medical Center on September 20th, a day during which employees were holding a cookout in a police holding area. The medical technician, who was also on duty, asked if she could have a hot dog from the barbecue, and one employee there told her she could. Confer, however, told the woman she could not have a hot dog. She left, but came back later and asked a second person if she could have a hot dog, and was told yes by that employee. But when Confer saw the woman making herself a plate, the police officer allegedly walked up to her and slapped the hot dog bun out of her hand, telling the woman she couldn't have any food and had to leave through a back door. The woman said she couldn't leave through the back door and had to leave through the front, according to WHBQ. But Confer allegedly wouldn't let her as he tried to corral her out the back door.
Hot dog police.
The police officer is accused of picking the woman up, causing her to hit her head on the cabinets.
Wow.
He then reportedly threw the woman to the ground, placed a knee on her back, and handcuffed her.
What?
He then put the medical technician in a holding cell without explanation.
What?
To the woman. A nurse at the medical center contacted Confer's supervisor, and the woman was released from the cell a short time later. She reportedly suffered a hematoma to the top of her head, bruising on both biceps, bruising on her shin, and soreness to her hip and lower back. Confer was arrested on Tuesday and charged with assault.
Why couldn't she have a hot dog?
Right? I mean, other employees said, yeah, you can
yeah,
this dude.
Sure, that's cool. No.
Ralph wasn't having it.
Ralph.
Maybe he wanted the hot dogs to himself.
There's not enough hot dogs to go around. I'm sorry, woman. You look like you've had enough food.
And you can only leave out the back. You're not allowed to go out the front. What?
Why? Why couldn't she have a hot dog?
All she wanted was a hot dog. Just one hot dog.
Just a hot dog. It's like, no, you can't have a hot dog. That is ridiculous. That's too funny. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm done laughing about that. Was there any more to that story at all?
No, not from the
I'm just curious on how you end up going to court and the judge looking at you and saying that you are going to jail for assaulting someone over a hot dog.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Especially
as an officer of the law. I mean, like, seriously?
I just don't understand under what environment this woman couldn't have a hot dog after being told twice. I don't understand why she knew this was going to be a problem after the first time. Don't you think? It's like,
I don't know.
I mean, she was just like, hey, you could have a hot dog. And the person says, yeah, you could have a hot dog. And then he's up there, no hot dog for you. So she leaves and then comes back and asks for another hot dog. Asks, hey, can I have a hot dog? I don't know. It sounds a little fishy to me. I don't understand why I just can't figure out why she.
Well, there's not a full explanation. I mean, she was there. It sounded like she was there as a nurse. Yeah.
She was working.
And this dude was like, "No, you can't have a hot dog."
Screw you. You can't have a hot dog. This is for something else only. I don't know. Maybe it's some kind of insider's medical club. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Maybe it's only for hospital police staff.
No idea.
I don't know.
Sorry, my coffee.
I should have made some coffee. But, yeah, I'll move on. Jimmy Carter got a black eye last week. This
Saw
week,
that.
technically. Still. Yeah, he fell down. He had a little slip and trip there in Tennessee. He was doing, Habitat for Humanity, building houses. 95 years old. Incidentally, he's the first president to reach the ripe age of 91. 95, excuse me. He's 95 years old. And apparently he slipped and had a black eye, required some stitches, and still managed to go build a house.
Yep.
Same
He
day.
went right back to it. Dude's a champ.
Dude's a beast. I didn't realize how much of a beast he really was. They're in the late 60s, early 70s. I think it was late 60s. I'd have to double check. But apparently this guy saved a nuclear submarine. Basically, he was part of and orchestrated the repair of a reactor core that was melting down in a nuclear submarine.
Damn.
It was on a Canadian sub, and of course, us Americans, we've never had a nuclear submarine catastrophe ever. That's a true story. We never have. We're good. We're good. It's all our other nuclear stuff that seems to blow up. Was that 5 Mile Island, 3 Mile Island? I don't know. That was a while ago. We shouldn't bring up old stuff, but this stuff is old and it's cool.
I love old stuff.
Yeah, I know it. But yeah. So Jimmy Carter orchestrated the plan to basically work on this thing, and he was also part of it. Basically, the repairmen worked in 90-second shifts. You know how fast you would have to work to go in, from going in and coming out 90 seconds, and they managed to, I don't know how many teams they had, but he was one of the people that actually went in and worked on it. They said that during that 90 seconds, because nuclear power wasn't as well understood then as it is now, that 90 seconds that each team went in for was essentially way too long, and they absorbed like years of radiation during those 90 seconds that we're in contact with radiation
constantly
for very small amounts that don't even really pick up. But anyway, they said that during that 90 seconds you picked up, I think it was like 5 or 7 years or some of the equivalent radiation your body would normally absorb over its lifetime. And
dang.
And of course, this led to they're blaming the cancerous tumors that they found 4 years ago on this event. So for Jimmy Carter had cancer, and then they checked again and he didn't. So the guy is just a peak of health. He has outlived 2 presidents so far. We're still debating on whether he's going to make it for a third or not.
Yeah, seeing that he was president when I was born.
Yeah, same. He was just on his way out. He lost to Reagan. I don't want to say he was a bad president, but he wasn't a good president. He's just a good person. I don't believe that there's any miraculous things he ever did for the American economy. But he did.
I don't talk about politics, so I'm not.
No, I'm not. But he did lose to Ronald Reagan, the recipient of 6 Razzies.
May have, but there was some. Without getting too far into it, there were some policies that he put into effect.
Oh yeah.
Didn't come into play until Reagan was president, and Reagan got credit. So.
That's every president, though. Yeah. It's all of them. Every single one of them are riding the coattails of the previous one.
So he did do some good things. He wasn't president when they came into effect.
He did. And, that, like I said, that's every president. They all have policies that don't come into effect until later. And then there are some that are right away that sink our economy. But
yes.
Not pointing any fingers, but our last 6 presidents have all done that. Every single one of them. But yeah, he's recovering nicely. I think it was like 14 stitches or something he got for this black eye. I don't know what he slipped on. Nobody really says. They just noticed that he fell during the morning meeting or something. So I heard that.
I tell you what, the older you get, the less it seems to take to make you slip and fall.
It's very true. You know,
Because I seem to be more prone to slipping and falling now than when I was in my 20s, for sure. And it takes a lot more effort to get up.
I don't really do much to actually slip and fall. I've done enough slipping and falling in my life to like know, hey, is that slick? Is that wet? If it's wet, assume it's ice. That's how much I've fallen. You know,
I don't fall often, but I fall more now than I did. Like, I don't fall often, but I see. I don't know. Maybe I just remember it more because it hurts more now. I don't know.
You just wake up with these massive bruises and you don't remember where they come from. Yeah.
It's just like the last time I actually had a slip and fall. We were actually getting ready to move, and I had some boxes that were unfolded. They were compact and they were up. And my dogs knocked them over, and they were all over the floor. And I didn't notice when I first got up.
Yeah.
And the place we lived in, we had smooth hardwood floors. So when I went in the living room and stepped on it, my feet come out from underneath me, and I landed on my hip.
You're there for weeks.
Oh, it took me a while to get up.
If it wasn't for that life alert, you'd still be there.
I've fallen and I can't get up. Yeah.
Sending help
I took that day
Mrs.
off.
Fletcher.
I took that day off.
You took that day off?
I did. I actually had a hard time trying to stand. It actually turned out I bruised the bone in my hip.
I fell down.
And you know the funny thing is there was hardly a bruise there.
Yeah,
but I could barely walk.
It was just deep.
Yeah. I ended up going to the doctors and they X-rayed it, and they're like, "Hey, you bruised the bone pretty bad." I was like, "Oh, awesome."
Yeah. When I worked on the river, that was a frequent thing. That's where I learned if it looks dusty, it's probably gonna put you on your butt. If it's wet, it's probably ice and gonna kill you. You know, I don't trust floors or surfaces that I'm forced to walk on. Many times out there, you would walk around a corner somewhere and the guy following you would fall on something and it would sound like a Looney Tunes cartoon where they're fighting and there's just like a dust cloud of just chaos. And that's what everybody's fall sounded like out there. It wasn't just a slip and fall. It was like they're dropping things and it just goes on forever. But yeah, when I did construction during the wintertime, if there was ice, I would fall on it 100% of the time. So now I don't walk, I hover.
You hover?
Yeah. Yeah, I watched Chris Angel enough. I learned the tricks. I can just float across things now.
I need to master that.
It's not easy, but it's not hard either. You know, you mostly just go to bed, close your eyes, and dream you're hovering, and then just don't go to work. Just stay in that state. It's more of a dream thing. I wish I could. Oh man. So, Matthew at work, he brought this up. He wanted us to discuss it. Or me or somebody. He wanted to hear about it. The Stafford prison experiment back in August of '71. Have you ever heard of this?
I am not familiar with that.
No, Dr. Zimbardo, something or other, Odo. He was approached by the Navy and possibly the Marines. I haven't conferred whether they both funded it or if it was just the Navy, but they just wanted an experiment conducted on why military guards have such a hard time in life. You know, they watch these prisoners of war. I don't know what kind of prisoners they were honestly judging at in this case. So there was an ad put out in the paper, Stafford, I don't know, Times, whatever newspaper. Help wanted, college students needed for psychology experiment. And essentially they they paid these guys $15 a day. I've watched quite a few videos on this now and read quite a bit about it, but I'm not going to get too deep. So these people, these kids were paid $15 a day, which apparently was decent money for a kid in 71. But they showed up. They said, "You're a guard, you're a prisoner," and they just randomly did that. And so there was equal amount prisoners, guards. They stopped it after 6 days. The study was supposed to go on for 2 or 3 weeks. I think it was 2 weeks. After 6 days, they decided we got to stop. Things are getting violent. I thought it was kind of weird because, you take normal human beings, granted off the street, but the majority of them were college kids, and you put them in this environment, and the videos from this is public access now. You could find them everywhere. Day 1 wasn't that big a deal. Day 2, the order of things was pretty well set. You can see that the guards were getting almost hyper aggressive, and the prisoners just fell into their servitude role of imprisonment like real quick. By day 5, there was borderline torture going on, not like life-threatening torture, but more psychological threats of harm. There was some physical stuff going on. And if the same sort of thing was leaked from a real prison, there would be an uproar. That's how bad it was getting. And I'm of course 71 standards and 2019 standards are very different. But yeah, they were just, and basically what. I don't guess that they were getting what they thought the Navy wanted. That might have been a big push on why they stopped the study. But there's interviews of, from people who were involved in that study. And one of the guys who played the guard was, he essentially said, we were coached. This is what they expected us to do. And he was the worst one. And it got to the point where he was like, I'm going to be the best, and I'm going to make sure they get the most data from their research. And he was borderline psychotic. And he said he by the end of it, he was realizing that he wasn't just playing his part in the experiment, that it was more like, this is something that's deep down inside me, and I don't like it. It's kind of an interesting thing. I think have you ever been like in a case where you work with like a good friend or something, and they suddenly become your boss? This is the first thing that I was thinking of when I started watching this. I was just like, man, I've worked with guys who were cool, and then at the second they got any power whatsoever, they turned into real assholes.
You've
seen it. You ever experienced it? You just want to like push them off a cliff. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. There are people who take jobs like that just because they like being in control of other people.
I agree. That's kind of something you need, though. You need to be able to enjoy being in control of other people, but for a job like that,
But there's a difference between doing it because you're good at it and doing it because you're on a power trip.
Yeah, no, the power trip's not what I'm talking about when I say you need to enjoy it. But no, people who enjoy guiding people on their rehabilitation or something like that, I think the whole prison guard thing is a pretty rough job. I wouldn't want it.
I wouldn't want it either. Just like I wouldn't want to be a police officer.
No, absolutely not. I have a friend who is a police officer, and his job sounds like it sucks a lot. That's pretty much all I really have to say about the Stafford prison experiment of August of 1971.
All right. Well,
there's some weird things going on back then.
Since there's a movie out about the creation of the Joker.
Oh yeah, Joaquin
He's
Phoenix.
a character. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a character I fully enjoy. I plan on seeing the movie.
I haven't seen it yet either.
No, I just haven't gotten around to it.
We can go watch it tonight.
You gonna come get me?
No. By the time I go pick you up and get to the theater and then take you back, I could have in the travel time, I can just go watch it.
See how you are.
Yeah.
But no, I've always enjoyed as far as villains go, the Joker's always been one of my favorites. And I'm not even a huge DC fan. I'm more of a Marvel person, but I've always enjoyed Batman and the Joker.
Batman and the Joker pretty much make up my entire and Lobo, but that's it for DC. Actually, Lobo's not DC, is he?
Yes,
he's DC. I couldn't remember if he's DC or Dark Horse because he is way out there. And Dark Horse Comics has some of the craziest. Excuse me. Some of the craziest quote unquote heroes. I watched the thing recently. I hate sidetracking here because I love the Joker and I'm actually kind of excited to hear about what you found. But did you know that Lobo is actually in possession of a Red Lantern ring?
I did not know that.
He just doesn't use it. He has it. He just doesn't care. He's just like, whatever. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I'm curious about that.
Yeah, he's...
So anyway... So I would like to talk a little bit about the origin of the Joker. Apparently, they based off a character from a movie called it was a creepy silent film called The Man Who Laughs, which I believe originally was a novel.
I've actually seen this movie. It's a silent film. It was crazy.
Yeah. And the actor who played him was named Konrad Veidt. He was a German man. I'm trying to find a really good photo here for that. Oh, hold on. Here, I actually saved.
This is actually The Man Who Laughs is actually a pretty rough movie to watch. It's really, really depressing. I don't really recommend anybody actually watch it, but my experience was I enjoyed it. But they had some really crazy ideas back in the silent film era, and his face was just plastered with that smile. Yeah, there it is. Pretty much,
I mean,
the entire thing. You know,
that is the Joker right there.
It's there is a lot of makeup going on in this, but his mouth was not. Teeth. Yeah, his mouth was peeled back pretty much the entire movie. I just gotta hand it to him. That was some incredible physical acting on his part. But to say that's pretty obvious. He was definitely geared on that one. They I wonder. I heard that oh goodness gracious, Catwoman was based off of Audrey Hepburn's. Just Audrey Hepburn. not a character, but yeah, it's the most beautiful woman to ever live.
And
in
of
my
course,
opinion.
Joker was first created in 1940.
That's crazy. That's a long time ago. That is a real long time ago.
He's been there since Batman's very first issue.
Yeah, wow. That was back when Batman had guns.
The original?
Yeah.
Now, that was actually back before
Detective
they called
Comics.
it DC Comics. Yeah, it was called Detective Comics.
Yeah, Detective Comics.
Which stands for, but...
Yeah, Batman carried a gun back then.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And the... on the risk of sounding too nerdy, issue 1000 of the the Batman, the main Batman storyline from DC. He goes back to carrying guns.
Oh wow.
I think that was the end of it though. I don't think he carried him for very long. But yeah, that was back when that was when Batman was just like, you know what, we need to just go ahead and start killing people again. Batman used to kill people.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Dark Knight Batman was a murderer, as I like to call him, but which is the aspect that we saw Ben Affleck play in Batman vs Superman. Terrible movie. But that's the aspect they went for, was more of the Dark Knight with murder hobo Batman.
I like murder hobo Batman. I just don't like
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck. I thought he was a mopey Batman.
Emo Batman.
He was like on the verge of crying the entire movie. That's just what I saw.
I don't know.
And the new Superman just, I don't know whether I like him or I don't, because he does not seem human. He doesn't seem to have any humanity at all.
I'm not a fan of Superman, so I could care less. I don't know, which is weird, because I kind of liked Superman when I was a little kid. Mm-hmm. But when I actually got into comic book reading, totally wasn't a fan of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Just never, I don't know, the whole Boy Scout, they're just, I don't know. I don't buy it.
Man, so
I was never a fan. I don't know, it was just, he was very douchey. Came off as very douchey.
I'm pretty douchey. My favorite Joker is the Heath Ledger Joker. I'm pretty...
I actually liked Heath Ledger.
Well, everybody did, but, I was...
Not everybody. No. There's some haters out there.
There are some haters out there, but he's the most popular one in present day. Jack Nicholson, he was a good Joker, but who's your favorite Joker?
Movie-wise, Heath Ledger. But overall, I'm a huge fan of Mark Hamill's voicing. I really liked his Joker in the Batman Arkham games.
I haven't played any of those yet. I plan on it eventually. Yeah.
Go for it.
Eventually plan on playing them. I just don't like stealth. I did.
Did you pick up Epic Games
versions? Yeah, I did.
All right.
Thank you, Epic Games, for giving us things for free. And
also, I think Surviving Mars is free this week if you're into strategy city builders.
Nope. Okay. I'm not. I don't like strategy or building or surviving. If I can't just kill it and eat it, I don't want to play with it.
Fair enough.
Actually, I don't even need... I just want to kill. That's about all I do in video games for the most part. Unless I'm... Yeah. That's about it. If I can't kill it in 10 minutes, I'm done.
if you can't pilot a Roomba, he's not into it.
Oh, I love Roomba.
I know you like Roomba.
I played it some more again. I played it more this weekend. Yesterday. I streamed it for a little while, and it's getting hard. I
played some Arkham Origins, get myself for the Joker conversation.
I got you.
Getting the feel for it, But yeah, who was your favorite besides Heath Ledger? I mean, I didn't know if you watched any of the animated series.
I watched a lot of the animated series.
I know Hamill also voiced some of the...
I like the Under the Red Hood Joker. I think it was either that one or Son of Batman. I don't remember which animated movie it was where Joker basically just goes on about how he's killed so many Robins. It's like Batman's disposable sidekick Robin. He killed like a bunch of them. That Joker was very, very crazy. It's very, very murderous.
This is about every Joker, but
yeah.
Now, when I was a kid, I grew up with the Adam West, the Batman TV show.
That was horrible.
And but it was great. As a kid, I enjoyed that show. I watched it every morning.
Yeah.
I was an 80s kid.
Yeah.
And there was a character on the show played by Vincent Price. He
Really?
played a villain called Egghead. And yeah, he had this big old balls.
That's
And,
terrible.
but it was Vincent Price.
Yeah,
Uh,
Vincent Price.
yeah, and it's funny. I talk about that, and people, Vincent Price was on there, and I'm like, yeah, he was.
That's
Uh,
because you didn't really have to do any real acting in that. I feel kind of cheated because it was, Batman is more of a serious comic book, and they made a parody of it, and Batman was a joke for decades. I think until Tim Burton decided, hey, I'm gonna make a movie with Michael Keaton,
yeah,
and then people were like, oh, Batman's pretty cool. So,
hopping hamburgers, Batman.
oh my gosh.
Just once, I would have liked to hear Robin go, "Holy
Oh, easy now.
yeah, I did that." You can edit that out if you want.
Yeah, I will.
Good, because I was like, "Oh man, I just dropped a F-bomb."
I mean, I probably won't because I've been told that every time I say I'm going to edit something out, I never do.
You should edit that F-bomb out though.
Okay. Man, I hate to be that guy, but I really don't have anything else. I mean, I do and I don't. I've got a lot of things that I bookmarked and then didn't really look into. But I can dig up some saved posts. Oh, I did McDonald's robber in England. This dude goes in and he like goes to murder. He goes to rob a McDonald's and changing the subject now, I guess. But he goes and he robs this McDonald's, tells him like, "Hey man, I'm armed. I've got this gun." And they force him to buy something in order to open the cash register. Now get this, apparently he paid £5 for a cheeseburger. Who is the real robber in this story? McDonald's charging £5. Now £5 is like almost, I don't know, what is it, $7 these days? I don't remember.
I don't stay current on exchange.
The exchange rate is like it's like $1.25 to every pound. I don't know, but it was just ridiculous. But apparently this was the fourth place he had robbed that day, and he didn't have a gun. The police finally catch him. He didn't have a gun, and they were just saying, well, just because you didn't have a gun, you said you had a gun, so we're still charging with armed robbery. And I guess he's got like some mental issues. They said it was like a cry for help, but they're still going to throw him in prison.
Yeah, let's not get this man the mental help he needs. Let's just throw him in prison.
Yeah,
That'll help him out.
Incidentally, the same day in Germany, there was a drunk guy who was he was armed with a samurai sword and a starter pistol, like the race pistols, where with the blanks you can fire them. I don't know, whatever. I guess he was firing this thing all over town, running around with a samurai sword. And the police talked him down and sobered him up and sent him home. That's really legitimately the end of that story. But what city was it in though? German city I can't pronounce. That's where it was at.
You should butcher it and make Melissa happy.
Oh God, Melissa, here you go. Grutenstand. It's a GR fancy U NSTD STADT.
That's a good STD.
Yeah, no, it's Germany, land of STDs.
So, I don't know. Are we done with that one?
I'm just rapid firing at this point because honestly,
I've got more.
I wanted to talk about Blizzard and the whole China thing, but then I was just like, who cares, really? Blizzard is just getting their nuts whacked for pandering. Apparently, though, I do want to touch on it. I guess there was a guy streaming their game who was supportive of the Hong Kong protests, which I haven't looked into either, and so they banned him and that's where this current controversy with Blizzard is coming from, because apparently their core values are free open voice for all. I guess it's even on a plaque on their offices. But apparently they like to censor people now.
And apparently the people who you're interviewing, when he put on his little rebel mask and claimed, democracy for China, the interviewers hid underneath the desk so that they wouldn't be seen during the shot.
I guess that's a different one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least that's what I read about it.
Oh, Blizzard just needs to focus on rebuilding their brand, and that brand is making video games.
Yep.
They're not saving the world at all. You know how many people I've killed in their video games? I've probably killed countless.
Aliens?
I've probably killed countless of Chinese and Koreans in their games. It's, I mean, just daily, every match, Overwatch, just slaughtering people. So they need to chill out.
Indeed.
So, what were you going to talk about?
I have an interesting story. I just thought it was kind of cool. A Japanese university student of ninja history. She got an A for handing in what appeared to be a blank paper. But her professor then realized that she used the ancient method of invisible ink and had to be heated so that the text would reappear.
Oh my gosh.
She even used the ancient method of making soybean extract. She crushed the beans herself and used washi paper. I mean, she went through all the traditional methods, and she handed in the essay, and with a note written in normal ink attached. Please read it after heating the paper, and he gave her an A.
Oh, heating the paper. I thought you said eating it. I was like,
No.
ew,
No,
gross.
No, you don't have to pass the paper to read it.
You had to pass that test. Good
But,
job. It's crazy. I wonder if her paper was actually good, or if she was just like, oh man, I didn't study at all. I need a gimmick to pass this test, and so she's just like.
Well, there's a picture of her with like an unrolled scroll. I mean, it looks like a full deal. So I mean, it looks like she fully did the essay and then took the extra step and did it in an ancient technique. I mean, that's a.
I don't think she studied. I prefer to believe she didn't study for it.
And she was just like,
did the invisible ink thing as a way of saying like, this essay is gonna suck so bad. I know a little bit. I'm just gonna BS my way through it, but I'll do it like this.
Know. That's like a lot of extra work just for some BS.
No, it's not BS. It's extra work in order to pass. I'm saying her knowledge of the topic was BS.
I don't know.
The presentation is where it was at in that one. She's like, at least I'll get at least a C for the presentation, and the dude just slaps an A on it. I wonder if she wore a Naruto headband when she turned it in.
I don't know, but apparently he said he didn't read the whole essay. He wanted to keep part of the work invisible. He only revealed part of it.
I told you he didn't know nothing. She didn't. Yeah, that my theory is correct. I think that's pretty funny.
Sorry.
Yeah, no.
I just saw a comment. Al Gore invented ninjas. Well, he invented the internet, so why not ninjas too?
Oh yeah, and global warming.
And global warming. Yeah, he invented that. Damn you, Al Gore.
That poor guy. I don't think he would have made a good president, but I think he probably could have pushed some good policies. That's just my feeling. You don't have to comment on it.
I'm not going to.
That's fine.
We don't cover that nonsense here.
Hey, you make comments.
But
We don't cover it. Of course not. I mean, it's not a deep conversation about what a crappy president Al Gore would have been, but, you know, I'm just saying. I think he could have done some help. Done some good. Maybe biodegradable shopping carts. You know, for all those shopping carts that get pushed down the hill at your local grocery market and nobody knows and there's just piles of rusty metal down there. If they were biodegradable, they wouldn't be rusty and putting pollutants. That's a good idea. I'm going to patent that. They're made out of paper. One-time use. It's a job creator.
Okay. You got anything else?
I probably do. I could probably come up with something.
Well,
I mean, we could just talk. Could just.
while you're looking, I got one more. It was just silly. It made
That's
me laugh.
fine. Yeah.
An Arkansas woman claims her brother fed her a meth sandwich.
Oh my God! Never mind. I don't have anything else because that's what I was looking for. Those two. This.
Do you see the picture, man?
Oh
my
God.
goodness.
Dude, they are rough. They are rough. She probably knew it was a meth sandwich. Yeah, they look like absolute basket case tweakers. And
No, hold on. Let me pull up this picture. Just give me a second.
I remember that the comment section in that on Reddit was pretty impressive. Of course, being from Arkansas, there was a lot of incest jokes thrown at it. They look pretty much like identical twins. It's
Let me,
identical meth twins. Well, Quasimodo over there.
look at that. That is just...
They're so rough. So rough. Not sure what's going on. But
Well, you know, we did mention the last time when we talked about the meth related. It does horrible stuff to you, man. I mean, maybe he looked like that beforehand. I don't know.
being from Arkansas, I'm not putting it past that, you know. But yeah, he I guess she was just being all weird in the car when they got pulled over.
And also, they said that they smelled marijuana.
Yeah.
But they both got arrested.
I wonder why.
And, yeah.
They got arrested just for being a nuisance to society looking like that. It's like you wake up and you're like, oh, I need to go to the store. And you go down there. I need to get bread for my meth sandwiches. And they go and you see them and you're just like, I don't want to be here anymore. So you just leave. I don't know. They're pretty rough looking people.
Apparently, when they were being questioned, apparently she told them that someone else put the stuff in the car. And when they asked the brother if there was anything illegal in the car, he reportedly replied, if there is anything in the car, it would be in the console and it would be ice.
But it is not there, so therefore we do not do that. They must have been just incredibly high at the time. I don't know. I recently watched a documentary on HBO. It's probably a couple years old, but it was about methamphetamine in Arkansas. And the reason I watched it, because the majority of it was filmed in Mountain Home, Arkansas, which is pretty close to here.
Actually, that's where I know someone from Mountain Home, Arkansas. I've been there.
Were they in it?
No.
But no, it's there was a lot of people that looked like that. These two, this brother sister or whatever. And it is a rough show to watch. You know, none of them work, but how are they constantly moving? You know, they're just like constantly moving into new places to live. They're going and having, I don't know. There's all kinds of theories. I guess, you know, let's just call them all thieves or whatever. But they didn't really show it in the documentary. Just constantly in and out of prison. They just have this influx of money and I have no idea where it comes from because drugs aren't bartered. Drug dealers want cash. Cash is the reason people get into selling drugs, from my understanding. So why does to me, nobody in the documentary looked like they had any money whatsoever. I guess that's the point I'm trying to get to. How do they afford drugs if they have no money?
Usually stealing.
But they'd have to sell it. I mean, you literally never saw anybody.
Dude, it's a rampant problem out here.
Yeah, I know it is.
People's places around where I'm at get broken into all the time.
Yeah,
and they sell it to pawn shops.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
It happens.
I don't know. It's weird.
But
if I remember right, they found the meth like on her, didn't they?
They found it in the car.
Oh, did they find it in the car? I thought they had to call a female officer to go search her, and they found it like in her back pocket or something.
Hold on.
And it was only like half a gram or whatever.
Oh, they found small plastic bags and a cut straw in her front pocket.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Apparently, though, she told police that if she pops hot, likely a reference to testing positive, it was because her brother fed her a meth sandwich. She also allegedly told the cops that he did that often, and she thought he put meth in her drink earlier Sunday, too.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the brother just confessed that they were both doing that.
He's like, whatever. We both shoot up, sis. You ain't got to lie about no meth sandwiches. Meth bean dip.
Oh,
got that recipe from that girl I know in Indiana. Worked at that deli.
Oregon, right? Was that Oregon?
Was it Oregon or Indiana? I can't remember now. That was so long ago. I don't know. But yeah, there's just so many excuses out there on why people do things. I don't understand them. Especially when it comes to drugs.
Yeah.
But that's legitimately all I have. So.
Now I'm curious. I'm backtracking to see.
You took the last one. You took my last one.
That was also my last one. But
unless you want to talk about the woman who was arrested for opening the airplane door for a breath of fresh air as it was about to take off.
Oh,
happened a couple weeks ago. That's basically the entire story, though. Yeah.
Oregon, yes. The grocery store
Oregon.
Bean dip was in Oregon.
Oh, well.
I had to backtrack.
I was hoping it was in Indiana.
Why Indiana?
I don't know. I was just thinking it was Indiana. Yeah, okay. So, this was in China. Apparently, she opened the plane's emergency door prior to takeoff, delaying the journey by an hour. Got to reseal those doors. It takes a lot more than you'd think. Happened shortly after the cabin briefed the passengers about emergency exits. According to an English language newspaper, the unidentified woman, who appeared to be in her 50s, told the crew that she needed a breath of fresh air. So she opened the door and she was removed from the flight. You open a plane door, I guess you're walking out of it. Now I'm done. It really isn't that interesting. Those are stories I skip. It's like, oh, okay, she opened the door and got arrested. Neat. Not that neat. But,
oh my goodness.
You have anything to add?
I don't know. That's just...
You don't know?
No.
You could always like and subscribe and share and comment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we need more interaction from our viewers. That's
as Joel was saying, it's free. It's a free service. Oh man.
Apparently some people see that subscribe button and they think it's going to cost them something.
Actually, I've actually heard that. It's like, how much is this going to cost me? And I'm like,
Oh, I've
Nothing.
had someone ask me that. Like,
Nothing. It
how much does
doesn't.
it cost? I'm like, it doesn't.
I don't know. As long as YouTube's been around, it's like people are still shy of the subscribe button.
It's scary.
It's like,
Listen, this isn't Columbia House.
I
This
don't
isn't.
know if I could subscribe to your channel. I mean, I subscribe to Netflix and I get like all kinds of stuff to watch. If I subscribe to you, how much is that going to cost? Because it's just you. It's like, what else do you need to watch? Huh?
Yeah, this isn't Columbia House. We're not going to try and rob you blind.
Oh, yeah. You get 15 episodes for free. Or for one penny. You get 15 episodes for 1 penny. I forgot about the Columbia House deal. That's some ancient stuff. And then you're required to buy 20 more episodes at full retail value. So, what? This seems legit. It's amazing the amount of trouble people got into when they didn't buy those extra CDs.
Oh my goodness! What was the other one? There was two I belonged to: Columbia House and
Oh, are you talking about the movie one? I'm talking
no,
like
they
way
were
back when they send you like that card of stamps. You know what I mean?
yeah, about CDs.
CD. Yeah.
What was the other one? There was another CD distributor that
I don't remember.
it was like Columbia House, but it was a different
What was
name.
it? Interscope?
No.
BMI? I don't remember, honestly. There was like, yeah, because there was one that was actually just their record company. I don't remember who it was now. But yeah.
But yeah, I had two going. I
Oh,
had one through
wow.
Columbia House, and I had it. Oh, well, back in my 20s, I used to DJ at parties and stuff.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense.
So
then.
I had a massive collection of CDs, which a good portion of them I got rid of after I stopped DJing because I just figured out I don't like people.
Because you just don't want to let the dogs out anymore.
That is a terrible song. I don't know. But anyway,
It's
so, yeah,
not a rap song. That's what surprised me most.
And I still have like
Yeah.
800 CDs.
Jeez, they take up so much room.
They do.
You know,
I'm glad that music.
I don't think I had 800 CDs, but I had hundreds, and they just take up so much room.
If music was more digital then as it is now, maybe I would have stuck with DJing. I don't know, because lugging all them CDs around, not a good time.
No, especially when somebody decides that they need. I don't know how many times I bought Doggy Style, Snoop Dogg, that album. I've probably bought it 6 or 7 times before I decided I'm just not buying CDs anymore. It was that Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex Magic, that album.
Oh yeah, I still have that album.
Well, you probably have one of my copies because I think I honestly think that I made that record gold. I think it was due to me because people kept stealing mine, and I was a huge fan of it. I don't know how many times I bought that. There's quite a few of them. I'm just like, why do you continuously steal these? Dude Ranch, Blink-182, that one, I've bought it like 3 times.
I had CDs disappear when I was DJing, and it was ones that I was just like, really? Of all the CDs I had there, you stole that one? Like, someone actually stole a copy of the Macarena. And I'm like,
Macarena.
And I'm like, I only bought that because I'm DJing. Why would you steal that?
Because nobody wants to buy the Macarena.
They'd rather steal it, I guess.
I guess. I don't know. That's embarrassing.
Someone stole a 311 CD. I'm like, you can have it.
311 was awesome when they came out. Trash now. Cannot stand listening to 311.
I never cared for 311, even when they first come out.
No, their first one was awesome.
Garbage.
It was all that. I was in that skate scene. All the
ska.
I love ska growing up.
I liked ska. I just didn't like 311.
Yeah, I don't like
trash.
See, like I got caught up in ska, the third wave ska, In the 90s when it came out, you know, there was like Real Big Fish, and that's the one, you know, Real Big Fish, Goldfinger. They were like big ska bands. Rancid, their ska was more second wave ska that they put out, and
Sublime.
No Effects. I like Sublime, and then like I love Sublime, and then I hated Sublime. Like I can't stand Sublime now. Garden Grove is about the only song I still enjoy.
Do you just like Sublime because they got overplayed? I mean, they got
Oh
played.
yeah, they got
hard.
overplayed 100%. Yeah, and it's
I
crazy.
was a Goldfinger fan too, but I still like Sublime. I'm not a huge radio person anymore, so
I don't listen to
I
the
don't know, it's
radio
hard.
at all. I listen to the radio more at work when they play the XM. I like the Garth station.
I just tune it out. I barely even. I'm usually not even aware of what's being played. People are like, "Hey, what's that playing?" And I actually have to stop and listen. I'm like, oh, it's
Yeah, I noticed the majority of people at work actually just block it out. It's
I just don't hear it. I don't do it on purpose. I just don't.
Oh, I got you. Maybe they just don't hear it. I don't know. Maybe my earplugs are thin. I hear everything that plays through there. But
I just, yeah, my brain just blocks it out, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Well, they changed stations. It's not just one station they play.
Oh, yeah, no. Mondays and Thursdays they play the Christian.
No, it cycles throughout the day.
Station. No, Monday and Thursdays in the mornings before lunch they play the Message, the Christian station, and then they play. I think they play Garth mostly on a Wednesday.
See, now originally when they first started,
and Tuesday,
they
and
were
then
they
Monday
were rotating
afternoon.
every couple hours. I didn't
Oh
realize.
no, it's just lunch. It just changes at lunch now.
I didn't realize they changed the what they were doing with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the Garth station mostly because you hear some stuff that you just don't want to hear, and it's a good laugh. Like when Garth plays the Who Let the Dogs Out. He also plays some Wrecking Ball. And then you'll hear like Patsy Cline in there somewhere and some really crappy other country, because I'm not a country music fan, but you'll hear Dive Bar like 7 times in one day.
Yeah.
And it's a horrible song. I don't know. And just a bunch of Justin Timberlake, which I also don't like. I honestly don't like anything that he plays on his station, but for some reason it's just like a constant stream, and I just find it funny. I don't know. I enjoy it because how bad it is. If that makes any sense. But I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and end it. I'm gonna go ahead and say we're done, because we're just rambling on about Garth Brooks' XM radio station now.
What's this we stuff, white boy?
You were listening. You didn't just sign out. You participated. I'm sorry. If I was robbing a bank and you were still standing there, you'd be an accessory. So you're an accessory to the Garth Brooks station on XM radio.
You totally robbed my ass. I was throwing you down the river, throwing you under the bus.
That's fine. I would also make up lies.
That crazy red-headed man did that on. I was the victim.
I was the victim. All right. Well, I'm Todd. And
I'm Joel.
And this is the Nonverbal Podcast, and we will see you again later in the week. Definitely.